his house or whatever the hell that was. Good morning, guys. Breaking news: heads exploding all over America as people wake up and check their Twitter feeds this morning. I was planning on just going through my day unscathed, but I just can't wait to open up twitter.com and just see the salt. And this is, well, I'll explain in a minute, but well, here's the deal. Donald Trump has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Probably very deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize, but it's very unlikely that that's going to happen. And it's not like there aren't 200-300 people nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize every year. We're talking for 2021. But it's like there is absolutely a very strong case to be made for Donald Trump receiving one. If he's not in the finalist, based on the criteria for a Nobel Peace Prize, I would be, well, I don't know if I'd be shocked. The people around the world, they don't like the Don. They don't like the Don, and politics the way it is in our world, and particularly in our country. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I was just, I saw that this morning. About what time was it? It was about 3 this morning that I saw that. Someone had mentioned it, I think, on someone's monkey show or something. And I went straight to Twitter just to see. Just to see the reactions. And some of them are precious. We'll get into it after the intro. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Whoa, what did I do there? Stop the music. That was abrupt. I think I stopped in the middle of my intro. Anyway, I don't care. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, me, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is, what's today, Wednesday? Is it Jussie Wednesday? Well, not today, because we've got too much other stuff to talk about. But it is the 9th of September, 2020. I'm so happy that you're here. I get thrown off when we have these get your Monday off for free holidays, and it's just what it is. Yes, as I mentioned in the cold open, the current president of the United States has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, and it has some people a little bit salty out there, but there is absolutely a case to be made. I should probably reset this bad boy too, because I don't have a superstar donor of the day yet, so we're going to just turn that shit off. Okay, all right, there, now. Everyone has the opportunity to be the superstar donor of the day just by being the first donor of the day. Anyway, the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, a man loved and a man reviled, depending on who you ask, has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. And it makes sense if you really think about it. It makes absolutely good sense, except for one problem. And that problem being is that our last president of the United States received a Nobel Peace Prize and basically sullied the award forever. Not that I am not a Barack Obama hater, but Barack Obama won a Nobel Peace Prize for the very unworthy what is it? What am I saying? Task? I don't know. Achievement of not being George W. Bush. That's pretty much it. And I got to tell you, he did nothing to earn it. In fact, had they waited, they would have realized that he absolutely did not deserve it. Absolutely. Just, supposedly, he was going to end the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, and he didn't do that. And then he started some other shit, like in Libya, and destroyed Libya. And he the dronings, and he's got issues, okay? And so now when I say that this president deserves one, I almost feel bad saying that, just because of the last president getting one who should not have gotten one. But, it is what it is. Anyway, before I get into too deep into that, let's say good morning to everybody, because, that's what I do. Good morning. Oh, first in the chat today was our friend Gun561, who gets the bell. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Gunny. Also, good morning to Maddie, who was just a very close second. Also, good morning to Gamer Valine. Where am I at here? Richo, my friend from down under. Good morning. Check your logic. Early today, aren't you, my brother? You're early today. Good morning to Duck Dog. Good morning to Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning to. Yes, I did, Richo. You guys have been in here a long time, haven't you? Good morning to Cartoon. Oh, now you're Cartoon Network, yes or no, or Nickelodeon, VS. You keep changing your name. You go from Disney to this to that, but you know what? I'll just call you Disney. I'm still going to call you Disney. But anyway, or not. I don't know. Also, good morning to Hey Larry. That's his name. Good morning, Tyler F. Good morning, Kessler. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning to James Colley. Good luck in court today, by the way. I'm not familiar with what the case is about, but I you know what? I got to wish you luck anyway, because you've been very supportive of me, too. Also, good morning, Wikipedia Snippet. Stabbing Joe Scarborough, keeping them knives sharp. Be safe. Good morning to Ronan. Good morning. I'm scrolling. If I got everybody so far. John Sislowski, how you doing? The background is DMT with P-Dog. I don't know what that is. Also, good morning to Cindy Rochelle, God Emperor of Duncan. Atheist Icon. I said Wikipedia Snippet. I think that's about it. Is that everybody? Oh, Cracker Bob, what's up, man? How you doing? Katie did skate. And I think Annalyn. People are rolling in, and I just gotta get it going, because I want to talk about this Nobel Prize thing. I really do. So here's the. Hang on a second. Oh, before I go, let's do this right now. Thank you, everybody who are sharing out the stream. Cynical Lindsay, City Rochelle, Sean, Necrosaw Collins. Let's see, Arthur. Arthur, are you here? Arthur the Hat. Necrosaw Collins. I got that. And thanks everybody for doing that. The top of the hour, because I had the top of the hour. I didn't do this morning. In fact, I'm gonna retweet the people who tweeted out today, because I didn't do a separate tweet for just starting the show. So there we go. Becca Fairley, also, thank you for doing that. I really, all you people who do that, I really appreciate that. I really do. All right. So here's the Twitter. Now this came up 3 hours ago. Now I heard about this about 6 hours ago, but here's Twitter's announcement. On twitter.com, Norwegian parliamentarian nominates Donald Trump for 2021 Nobel Peace Prize, Fox News reports. Oh, Fox News reports? I think more than just Fox News reported this morning. In fact, I did not hear it from Fox News. I heard it from someone else. Makino Programmer, what's up? How you doing? Muted your message. Oh, no. That sucks. Christian Tybring Jetty, a member of the Norwegian parliament, has once again nominated U.S. President Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize, citing his work in the Israel-United Arab Emirates peace conflict. According to the official Nobel website, there were 318 candidates for the 2020 Peace Prize. Now, note, just by putting that little last sentence there, the Twitter.com peoples are downplaying the fact that he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. maybe, I don't know if it's just to help people take the news better, because I hear heads exploding from here. I can hear them. I hear the heads exploding already. And also the fact that they said that this member of Norwegian Parliament has once again nominated the president for the Nobel Peace Prize. So here's Christian Tyree Jetty, who says, for his merit, I think he's done more trying to create peace between nations than most other Peace Prize nominees, including, what's that guy's name? Barack Obama. Oh, yeah. Yes, that guy. Anyway, he's citing efforts to resolve world conflict. He said Trump has broken a 39-year-old streak of... This is a funny sentence to me. This is a funny sentence. Trump has broken a 39-year-old streak of American presidents either starting a war or bringing the United States an international armed conflict. Now, I don't know if that's shots fired at... certainly at Bush, right? And the Bush this first, Bush 42, 43, 44. Bush 41 and Bush 43. But even Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, who else is in that list? Ronald Reagan. It's all of them, right? Well, 38 years, yeah. So let's see here. And Tybring Jetty, a four-term member of Parliament, who also serves as chairman of the Norwegian delegation to NATO Parliamentary Assembly, told Fox News in an exclusive interview. Because that was the Fox News interview. Here's the Daily Star, the UK. Let's just wait. Hang on a second here. Let's do this. Oh, what the hell happened there? That's not what I wanted to do. Hang on. Jeez. What the hell? Stop that shit. Apparently. Let's try this again. Sorry, guys. I clicked the wrong clicker thingy. All right. Let's go back here. Well, here, let's read this thread first. So then this Emma Parker says the same thing, quoting the Christian Tybring Jetty. And then Mr. Tybring Jetty also... Oh, here's the whole thread. Let's read the whole thread. There we go. All right, so Trump has broken a 39-year-old streak of American presidents either starting a war or bringing the United States to an international conflict. Yeah, Trump's not into war, right? Tybring Jetty also said Trump played a key role in negotiations between Israel and the United Arab Emirates and the conflict between South Korea and North Korea. Oh, but there's more. He urged the committee to judge Trump on the facts, not the way he behaves sometimes. Whoa, how about that? Now, okay, so Evil One, a friend of mine here, says, I've never seen more uneducated people living in the U.S. in my life. They don't understand states. What does that have to do with this? Okay, hang on. That doesn't have anything to do with that. Hang on. Oh, I went to the thread. That's why. So as you read some other people talking about this, though, so let's see. U.S. President nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts in the Israel-UAE deal, reports say. The Hill... Just in, Norwegian lawmakers nominate Trump for Nobel Peace Prize after a summit with Kim Jong-un. That's from 2018. That's when he nominated him then. Now, here's some people who are a little bit salty. Here's a couple here's someone named Jim Watterson. Now, Jim Watterson is what? Media editor at The Guardian. Get in touch with your media organization and conference, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, here's what he says. Any politician in any national parliament or any random humanities professor anywhere in the world who fancies getting some headlines can legitimately nominate someone for the Nobel Peace Prize. Saying that this is not special, it just should not be. Don't even pay attention to this, right? Good morning, Zach Osborne. How you doing? Then someone named Ari Krauss, according to the website, there are 318 candidates for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2020, 211 individuals and 107 organizations. It's not difficult to get nominated. Okay, right? Sure it's not. But is there a legitimate reason why you might be nominating this guy? And then someone else down here, let's see. Oh, let's see a thread, because this is probably someone who's this is a salty person, I guarantee it. Let's see. Ari Krauss continues. What did else they say? Sorry, I didn't specify. Not difficult for the President of the United States. I assumed you all wouldn't be so goddamn stupid. Oh, I guess he got some replies. Let's see. Now here's some great replies, though. The question is, how many winners drone bomb hospitals and weddings? Oh, shots fired. Now this guy, how much did Trump pay to the guy to nominate him? Doubt it. Can't you give him credit? It's a positive thing, and he's done a lot of work for peace in the world. This bitch says, too bad he's done nothing for peace in the U.S. Well, I'm curious, whose fault is that? How could that be his fault? Apparently some governors don't want any help. It's the media that said nothing for peace in the U.S. Trump's accomplishments are discredited or reported in a divisive way on purpose to control the narrative. Yeah, that's the truth. Here, let's go back, though. Let's go back, because I want to show you just the Twitter highlighted ones, because it's funny. Here's in Twitter moments, UAE and Israel have agreed to the Abraham Accord, a peace deal that will suspend Israel's plans to annex the West Bank territory. Okay. And that's the last one. Oh, they took the other one out. There was another one in here that was super salty. So anyway, let's see if there's Okay, let's talk about this, though. Let's talk, because I did pull up an article in particular. McCain spinning in his grave. Oh, my God. Yeah. John McCain would have us in another war by now, I would think. So, So I found this article from Front Page Magazine, Why Trump Deserves the Nobel. And I haven't read all of it. I read some of it, but we're going to go through this one, because this is my main story today. Why Trump Deserves the Nobel, but Don't Hold Your Breath. On August 13th, President Donald Trump shocked the world when he announced that his administration had brokered a peace deal that established normalized relations between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. The UAE became the third Arab nation to forge normalized ties with the Jewish state after Egypt in 1979 and Jordan in 1994. Moreover, the agreement, which has been aptly referred to by the administration as the Abraham Accord, paves the way for normalized relations with other Arab countries, including the Gulf states of Oman and Bahrain. Saudi Arabia and Bahrain have since announced that they will open their skies to Israeli commercial traffic, signaling further détente with the Arab world. The peace agreement forged between Israel and UAE is unique for three reasons. First, it is the first peace agreement between Israel and an Arab party in which Israel was not required to cede land, setting a positive precedent. Second, it demonstrates that Palestinian track. Third, there appears to be a broad support among UAE citizenry for the accord, unlike peace agreements forged with Egypt and Jordan, which were largely government-to-government understandings and characterized by a cold peace. There appears to be a genuine undercurrent of warmth between Israeli and Emirati people. This foreign policy achievement itself was monumental. Even New York Times op-ed writer and fierce Trump critic Thomas Friedman himself gave Trump an enthusiastic nod of approval, characterizing the breakthrough as a geopolitical earthquake. I gotta tell you, when I read Tom Friedman praising Trump for this, and even Paul Krugman gave a kudos to the administration for this happening. Whoa, dude. In the immortal words of Bill and/or Ted, whoa. Good morning, Big Assassin. How you doing? But establishing peace between historical Mideast enemies wasn't enough for Donald Trump. He moved on to his next project, this time in the volatile Balkans. On September 4th, the administration announced that it had brokered a deal between Serbia and Kosovo, the understanding, which is centered on economic cooperation involving multiple industries, benefits both nations and fosters business opportunities for outside investors from Europe and the United States. The bitter enmity existing between Serbia and Kosovo spans 21 years after Serbs and Kosovars fought a particularly vicious war in which both sides inflicted brutality on the other. Thousands, civilians as well as combatants, were killed, while tens of thousands more were displaced. All that enmity evaporated during the signing ceremony at the White House, in which the leaders of all three nations, Trump, Serbia's President Alexander Vučić, and Kosovo's Prime Minister Abdullah Hoti, were present. Also present were Trump's special envoy on Serbia and Kosovo, Richard Grenell, his national security advisor, Robert O'Brien, and senior advisor and primary architect of the UAE-Israel peace deal, Jared Kushner. The multilateral deal had other positive ancillary implications as well. As part of the agreement, Serbia agreed to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and Kosovo, which had hitherto no relations with the Jewish state, agreed to open an embassy in Jerusalem as well. In doing so, Kosovo becomes the first Muslim-majority country to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. An astonishing achievement by any stretch. It's stunning. I gotta tell you, it truly is stunning. By thinking out of the box and looking at the world through a prism untainted by the swamp, the Trump administration accomplished what previously American administrations could not. It had bucked politically insurmountable odds to foster cooperation between historical enemies, and in doing so, brought political stability and economic opportunity to two volatile reasons. So, will Trump receive a Nobel Peace Prize? Don't hold your breath. The highbrow folks who sit on that worthless Norwegian committee revile Trump. They are an integral part of the swamp, viewing the world through an elitist prism that is detached from reality. These are the same people who gave a Nobel Peace Prize to the now deceased gangster of Ramallah, Yasser Arafat, after a revolting figure who was arguably the most notorious terrorist of the last century, and whose word wasn't worth the paper it was written on. And, as we mentioned earlier, in October 2009, the Nobel Committee awarded the Nobel Peace Prize to Barack Obama. Barely 9 months after the former freshman senator and community organizer assumed the office as America's 44th president. Between January 2009 and October 2009, Obama had not addressed a single foreign policy, or had not had a single foreign policy success. In fact, during his tenure, Obama's foreign policy was marked by failure and fecklessness. He downplayed the ascendancy of ISIS, vacillated when Syria used poison gas against his own people, emboldened Iran through policies of appeasement, ignored human rights abuses in Turkey and China, and shut down a very promising investigation into Hezbollah's transnational criminal enterprise. The Nobel Committee mindset mirrors that of the establishment media, which detests Trump and operates as the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party. That's why the establishment media buried the Israel-UAE peace accord beneath deprecatory articles on Trump and tributes to his challenger, despite the deal's enormous positive implications for regional peace and stability. And that is why members of the press corps directed off-topic questions at Kushner, O'Brien, and Grenell when the trio issued a press conference on the Serbia-Kosovo-Israeli breakthrough, which Grenell whooped their ass. That was fantastic. Anyway, let's see. Grenell, though, would have none of it and angrily responded to a journalist off-topic questions by dryly asking the journalist if he could find Serbia or Kosovo on a map, which was brilliant. But Grenell's tongue lashing didn't stop there. He deprecatingly noted that there was a crisis in journalism and that people aren't listening to you assholes anymore. I'm sorry, it says journalist, but that's redundant. So despite his achievements in forging peace on 2 continents, Trump will not receive the Nobel Peace Prize. But judging by the lowly caliber of the people issuing that prize, their dishonest media allies, and their skewed world outlook, the lack of committee recognition, though contemptible, should be viewed as a positive thing. It would be, all right, in my eyes, what would be amazing is if, because look, there's going to be more announcements. I'm just telling you right now, there's going to be more announcements. There's going to be more, there's going to be probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 more countries in the Middle East or that recognize Israel. Well, maybe at least 2, I think, maybe 3. And so the committee's going to be in a quandary because it's a region that we've been talking about. I remember we've been talking about the Middle East since I was in junior high back in the 70s. I mean, it's been just a shit show for years. Now, they had the Egypt deal in the 77, and then unfortunately, what's his name? Menachem Begin, and can't remember the guy from Egypt. But anyway, but it's been a shit show for as far as I can remember. And Trump's having all these successes where supposedly Barack Obama was supposed to be such this great foreign policy guy, and he sucked at it. And so the Nobel Committee is going to have to think about this. Look, the idea that this is the first American president in almost 40 years that hasn't had America in a new conflict. You got these 2 huge deals, probably more coming. What would be awesome in my eyes is if the Nobel Prize Committee, Anwar Sadat, thank you, Wikipedia did it, but if the Nobel Prize Committee awarded the Nobel Prize to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump turned it down. Would that be amazing? I just think that would be amazing. But hey, none of that's going to happen. As much as I dream. All right, real quick, let's move on. We're going to talk about speaking of international bodies that are, well, I guess the Nobel Committee is not an international body, but it's international politics, I guess. I want to move on to the United Nations and the guy from Egypt, Jesus. Good morning, Zombie Teddy, by the way. Oh my gosh. He wouldn't turn it down. Wouldn't that be just a smack in the face? You know what? I appreciate the offer of the Nobel Prize, but, the last American president you gave it to really sullied the award. I'm not going to take it. Oh, that would be just classic Trump. Anyway, all right. No, he wouldn't turn it down. But anyway, so the United Nations, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, and I cracked up, and I found an article on it too. The United Nations has announced who's to blame for the COVID-19 pandemic, and unfortunately, it's not China. Now, I bet you're wondering to yourself, what is he talking about? Well, so you thought COVID-19 came from China? Well, maybe from a serving of bat soup in a wet market, or perhaps it escaped from a lab. According to the United Nations, you are mistaken. The pandemic was caused by millennia of patriarchy, and we all know it. I tweeted out yesterday. The COVID. Let me do it in a. This will be in a United Nations voice. The COVID-19 pandemic is demonstrating what we all know. Millennia of patriarchy has resulted in a male-dominated world with a male-dominated culture, which damages everyone: women, men, girls and boys. I'm sorry I didn't name all the other genders. Blaming the patriarchy is a laughable attribution and has long been recognized that some viruses and bacteria will figure out how to jump from animals to humans as they evolve. Likewise, both China's wet markets, which often include wild animals, and their lax safety procedures at government labs have been noted as risks for the emergence of new human illnesses. I guess Xi Jinping is a man, and I have no problem blaming the global pandemic on the way he and the CCP have managed the virus. However, the assertion in the tweet is simply ridiculous. If anything, COVID becoming a global pandemic at the scale it did can be attributed to globalization and the fact that people routinely travel the world over, carrying whatever germs they have on them in every corner of the world. But, I got to tell you, they also, let's see, what is it down here? They said too something about, as it's clear from the tweet, as well as the United Nations website, globalization is something the agency is a proponent of. The chief concern is that the pandemic will impact the agency's sustainable development goals. Yes, the sustainable development goals. These goals were replaced Agenda 21 and were targeted to be accomplished by 2030. We are facing a global development emergency in both scale and scope, unlike any other recent history. The pandemic threatens to roll back progress toward the sustainable development goals, putting the world we want further out of reach. Inequality and poverty are on the rise, and countries of all income levels are scrambling to protect vulnerable people from the health, social, and economic shocks the pandemic caused. Wait a minute. What? Global inequality and poverty on the rise? That's not true. Poverty. Oh my God. Poverty's not on the rise in the world. Now, granted, the pandemic has caused some serious issues, but anyway. Thank you, God Emperor of Duncan, donating $3.33 in the Super Chat program, and you are now the Superstar Donor of the Day, who says, make this man PAWG Secretary of the WHO. He has a very qualified accent. Thank you very much. I've been practicing that accent for at least 15 minutes, and we got it down, I think. Okay, the quote from the Secretary General in a tweet above caught my eye. I have seen the words equal, inclusive, and resilient in too many places at this point not to have them set off alarm bells. So the social justice crowd in the United States uses these themes constantly. They are in everything, including the Green New Deal, the Biden-Sanders Unity Platform, training based on critical race theory, and the Black Lives Matter agenda. However, as those who have studied critical social justice movements, such as Helen Pluckrose and James Lindsay, have noted, these concepts have a distinct definition when used in this context. Equal does not refer to equal opportunity and needs of those. Equal does not refer to equal opportunity. Instead, it refers to equal outcomes. Inclusive means giving more weight to the options and needs of those who fall lower on the intersectional pyramid due to whatever particular identity they claim. And resilient is a code word for massive investments in green technology and so-called frontline communities. It often signals enormous wealth redistribution and government control of large sections of the economy. In other words, commie bastards. Yes, I said commie bastards. Anyway, all right. And then they got to think about Trump getting rid of critical race theory, blah blah blah. All right, enough of that article. Enough of that shit. All right, real quick, let's do the shill. Thank you everybody for being here. The Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you'd be so kind, share the stream out. The share arrows down there or up there, depending on if you're on your computer or on your mobile. Please, that's very helpful. Also, if you'd be so good to hit the like button. I got 42 people in the house and only 18 likes so far. If you like what we do, hit the like button sometime before you go. I will remind you at the end of the show. Also, if you want to do super chats like God Emperor of Duncan, who is the superstar donor of the day, you can do that through the Streamlabs link in the description down below. It also shows up in the chat every once in a while. In fact, let's see if I can find it. There's one right there. Oh yeah. The show is sponsored by viewers like you. Support the show with your donations and have your super chats read live on the show. You'll be a permanent part of this episode of the Morning Night Live. Yes, you will. Also, if you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section so I know you were here. All right. Let's see. What else we got here? You know what? I was making this a Gun Fox day. Oh, by the way, more notifications here. Thank you, Tyler F. and RVA and Sean DW. And I already said Arthur and Necrosal Collins for retweeting my tweet. By the way, you can follow me on Twitter, Minds, Gab, and Parler right up there. If you want to get notifications directly from me and not have to wait for, what's this down? I'm on YouTube, right? Yeah, YouTube. You know, I yesterday, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I actually opened a Twitch account yesterday. Like, first time I've ever even been on Twitch. Only because I was watching Sinatra Says. He was doing his Tucker Tuesday, and for some reason he switched over from YouTube to Twitch. I'm like, oh, well, I'll watch the rest of Tucker Tuesday. So I opened a Twitch account. So I might do that, what do you call it, multi-stream, and do the show on multi-platforms. But anyway, if you want to do, again, super chats are down in the description below if you want to do that. And also you can donate through Venmo or Cash App. Those links are in the description down below. Soon we'll be able to do YouTube super chats too, as long as we keep growing. I only need 100. Look, here's the deal, gang. I need 160 more subscribers. Now, I am finally locking up some guests that are much larger than I as far as the YouTube subscribing list. And a lot of times when I have guests on, a lot of those subscribers come over. So I hope it doesn't get too unwieldy in the chat, but you know, the more the merrier. What the hell? All right, let's move on. Let's see. We did this one. Let's see. New movie. Oh, well, no, I'll save that for last. Let's see. This is the new movie. There's a movie about the Electoral College that I want to watch, but I'm also going to recommend it to y'all. Why we need the Electoral College, but that's not important. Gun Fox, I've been so neglecting my email. See, here's the thing. I used to ask people to send me articles through email and through my hashtag, which is hashtag PDK News. But there's been so much news lately, I often don't get to my inboxes. And I'm just like, because there's so much and I only do an hour and a half show. So I've got to remedy that somehow by either doing maybe one afternoon show a week and just submitted news, or I may expand the length of the show depending on how my other outside activities pan out. We'll see how that goes. Us mods got your back. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So anyway, but today I thought, you know what, I'm going to, Gun Fox always is great about sending me a lot of great articles. So it's a Gun Fox day. This one was cool though. And some of these are just cool articles and some are just poignant about things that are happening in the world. This one, Sunset on Mars, smoke from California fires give national parks an apocalyptic glow. As you know, there are major fires going out in California. Not that far from where my sisters live, but they're far enough away that they're not in danger. But so my sister lives in Diamond Bar, both my sisters live in Diamond Bar, California. And she sent me a picture of her at the store, and then the picture of what the temperature was. It was 113 degrees. Now, Diamond Bar is kind of in the eastern hills of east of LA, but 113 degrees. Okay, so this morning in Minnesota, we had a record low temperature. It was 48 degrees when I got up to go to work. So it was kind of crazy that we're having those extremes on both ends of the earth. So I got to call her and I'm gonna chuckle at her and go, "Hey, how hot was it?" Yeah, it was 48 degrees here. Anyway, This is kind of cool. If you want to watch, here's a 40-second video of just what's happening in California. And there's an advertisement. Great.
Some people say dress your age.
Some people say turn that shit off.
I dress how I feel.
Shot.
Yesterday, I felt bold with boundless energy.
Okay, I don't care. Skip ad. There we go. Here we go. All right, here. Skip ad. Good Lord. Okay, there it is. The.
It's like some World War shit. We bomb some nukes. This is what we're gonna get.
So this is at Yosemite National Park, where you kind of see the glow of the fires and smoke everywhere, obviously. So the nation's 5th most visited national park has taken on the qualities of an alien world as a 152,833 acre creek fire burns out of control 60 miles to the south. I'm going to mute this now because it's too loud. The blaze has been growing out of control since September 4th, generating a blanket of smoke and ash that has displaced colors and transformed day into dusk at a nearby state and national parks. Yosemite has been among the hardest hit. Based on photos shared on social media, all show the park, once magnificent vistas, have turned orange, dingy, and ominous. Let's see. There's been many trips to Yosemite, but I've never seen it look so apocalyptic, tweeted a park visitor named Mason. Rained ashes all day. Looks like a sunset on Mars for 7 hours. You can hear the thunder being created by the smoke clouds. This is crazy. Stephen Price tweeted, and so on and so forth. He had a second article here, though. Let me find that because, hang on a second here. Let me find the right one. Did I not open all of them? Let's see here. Oh no! Did I close the one that? Okay, well we have our second boomer moment of the day. All right, feel bad about that. Anyway, we're gonna move on. Yeah, those fires in California, that's a mess. It's also, I think, in Washington State too. More news on Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci says he's frustrated by large maskless Trump rallies. We want to set an example. Oh, I have another stupid article I got to get to today too. We'll go through these quick and then go to a couple more that I had set up. Dr. Anthony Fauci is no fan of President Trump's rallies, at which many attendees are spotted without masks while flouting social distance guidelines. Of course, this is media. In an interview on CBS this morning, thank you, Mr. Scott. I'm going to stop for a second. Mr. Scott, I didn't even see you come in the door. Welcome, sir. With the $2, it was 100 degrees in some places in western Nebraska on Sunday, and it was snowing there in central and western Nebraska yesterday. I know Colorado parts of Colorado got 19 inches of snow yesterday. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Sunday, 100 degrees and then snowing there yesterday. That's crazy. Yeah, weather's kind of a weird thing. Continuing, in an interview on CBS this morning, Wednesday, Gayle King quizzed the infectious disease expert about Trump's increasingly frequent mass gatherings. The president continues to hold massive rallies where people are not wearing masks, including the president himself. King said, "When you see that, what do you think? Is it frustrating to you as an expert on this?" "Yes, it is," Fauci replied. Okay, wait a minute. Let's qualify this. Yes, Dr. Fauci is an expert in these infectious disease thing. I don't know that the recommendations that have been made, though, have really done anything if you really think about what's happening in the rest of the world. But I digress because I could get my YouTube channel yanked for questioning Dr. Fauci. Anyway, he said, "Yes, it is frustrating. I've said that often. That situation. We want to set an example because we know that when you do 4 or 5 typical kind of public health measures, mask, physical distance, avoiding crowds, making sure you do most things outdoors versus indoors, those are the kind of things that turn around in surges and prevents us from getting surges." What? Oh, the things that turn around surges and also prevents us from getting surges. So I certainly would like to see a universal wearing of masks. By the way, Joe Biden, he's backed off on his so-called the first day in office, I'm going to mandate masks throughout the country. I think he figured out he can't do that because he mentioned the Constitution a couple days later. And then the next question was, well, I didn't mean we'd do it. We'd force people. We'd be an example. We'd wear masks like an example. And I'm like, well, then shut the fuck up if you're not going to force everybody. Anyway, Fauci's criticism of Trump's rallies comes one day after he threw cold water on the president's suggestion that a coronavirus vaccine could be available before Election Day. And speaking of that, I think that's this next article here. Fauci says a coronavirus vaccine is unlikely by the U.S. election. Yeah, I don't particularly care. I don't think it has to be ready by the election. Just if they're going to do one, do one. Here, let's put this on the screen. The CDC asked states to ready facilities to distribute coronavirus vaccine by November 1st. Yes, that's what they should be. They should be able to hit the ground running, right? Dr. Anthony Fauci said at a health conference that it's more likely a vaccine will be ready by the end of the year. Okay, that's good. Drug companies Moderna and Pfizer are racing to complete patient enrollment for their late-stage vaccine trials by the end of September. Here's the article. White House coronavirus advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci said Tuesday coronavirus vaccine probably won't be ready by the U.S. presidential election, even as the Centers for Disease and Prevention asked states to ready distribution facilities by November 1st. Yeah, be prepared. If it's not by the election, doesn't matter, but have that ready to distribute the way you want to distribute it. At a health conference, Fauci said it's more likely a vaccine will be ready by the end of the year as drug companies Moderna and Pfizer race to complete patient enrollment for the late-stage vaccine trials by the end of September. It's unlikely we'll have a definitive answer by the November 3rd election, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases said at the Research America 2020 National Health Research Forum. The comments are also at odds with President Donald Trump, who suggested at a press conference Monday that a vaccine could be ready for distribution by Election Day. Now, that's interesting. He said could be, not will be, but it is CNBC, which is a NBC property, which always has to try to create conflict with anything the president says. He said we could have a vaccine soon, maybe even before a very special day. You know what I'm damn talking about, Trump told reporters. Yeah, we could have a vaccine soon. Not guaranteeing it, just he's, you know, how Trump kind of talks in... I don't want to say platitudes, in hopeful rhetoric. Anyway, infectious disease experts and scientists have said they worry the vaccine approval process in the U.S. could be polluted by politics, not science. I don't think it's kind of like who's that? Who was the guy? He owned a winery. His name was on the wine, and he always say, "We will serve no wine until it's time." Is that not? That's not Mogan David. Who was that guy's name? I don't remember. Anyway, somebody here is old enough to remember that. I guarantee it. We will serve no wine before it's time. And we will serve no vaccine before it's time, before it's ready. Whatever. Anyway, so that's the wedge that they're trying to draw between the president and Fauci, which they've constantly done for the last several months. All right, moving on. U.S. budget deficit hits a record $3 trillion, according to the Congressional Budget Office. That's not good. The federal budget deficit hit an unprecedented $3 trillion in August, with another month to go before the end of the fiscal year, according to estimates from the Congressional Budget Office. That figure amounts to $1.9 trillion more than the same period last year, and more than double the largest year-long deficit on record, the CBO noted on Tuesday. The difference comes almost entirely from increased federal spending due to coronavirus pandemic, with revenues down just 1%, but spending up 46% compared to the same period last year. The U.S. has thus far $6 trillion in relief spending on the coronavirus crisis, only half of which was covered by tax revenues and other receipts. The Treasury Department expected to publish the official deficit tally for August later in the week. Yeah, that's not good news. Paul Masson, thank you. Yes, it is Paul Masson. I could not remember his name. No, not Ernest and Julio. Nope, it was Paul Masson. That's right. We shall serve no wine before it's time. Other economic news. We'll go to J.P. Morgan Chase probing fraud in U.S. stimulus programs. No sound. Oh, what are you talking about? No sound. Barack 44, you're back. Nice to have you back, my friend. I know we don't agree, we don't see eye to eye to things, but I'm glad you came back to join us. U.S. financial behemoth J.P. Morgan Chase said Tuesday it was working with authorities after learning of unethical conduct by customers and employees connected to huge government pandemic relief programs. The J.P. Morgan memo, rude conduct that does not live up to our business and ethical principles. Bank executives said in a message to employees, if you see conduct that does not live up to our high standards and strong values, say something, they said in the memo, adding that confidential complaints were welcome. They pointed to problems with customers misusing funds from the Paycheck Protection Program, unemployment benefits, and other government programs, and said some employees have fallen short too. We're doing all we can to identify those instances and cooperate with the law enforcement where appropriate. The message marks the latest blemish for the Small Business Administration's PPP program, which has been beset with controversy even as it has helped support tens of millions of jobs. At least some of the problems with the PPP have been a result of the program's hasty rollout, which emphasized the need to quickly distribute the funds to companies and other employed less stringent anti-fraud safeguards than others government programs. Yeah, it was a shit show, and it's just whatever. Oh, it's working now. Okay? Maybe you got muted there. I'm glad you're back. All right, gotcha. Okay. Let's see what else. Michael Cohen is in the news. Of course, this is an NBC News article who says Michael Cohen completely trustworthy and 100% honest and truthful at all times. Cohen calls Trump a racist cult leader, says he disparaged Obama, black leaders in Chicago. Okay, and does Trump disparage everybody? Is it equal opportunity to disparager, or is he targeted strictly to just black leaders? Anyway, the president's former lawyer spoke out in an exclusive interview with NBC News' Lester Holt. Should we watch it, or should we just... Nah, it's probably too long. How long is this? Yeah, we're not going to do this. President Donald Trump's... Now, this is funny because when you read an article from a news outlet, normally they try to stick to the facts. And it's always fascinating how they will use descriptions that really are editorialized descriptions. The first sentence in this article: President Donald Trump's ex-fixer, Michael Cohen, told NBC News in an exclusive interview that he believes his former boss is a racist cult leader who would be wise to resign before he's faced with potential criminal charges. Fantastic. Cohen spoke with NBC News' Lester Holt ahead of the release of Tuesday's of his new book, Disloyal, a Memoir, which discusses his experience working for Trump. In the book, obviously, I describe Mr. Trump as a cult leader, and I was in this cult, Cohen said. So one of the purposes of writing the book is really from one former cult member to the current ones, he continued. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Open your eyes as I have, and I want you to appreciate that Donald Trump cares for no one or anything other than himself. Cohen said Trump's backers have to defend his indefensible actions, mentioning the Atlantis report last week, in which several sources... It was several sources with first-hand knowledge, who refused to go on the record, of Trump's remarks, said he referred to American service members killed in combat as losers and suckers. Trump has repeatedly denied the accuracy of the story, as have administration officials and allies, like some that have actually were there. You know what? That's a he said, she said, and I got to tell you, it's kind of, you know, the same news outlets said the Steele dossier was true and righteous, but you know how it goes. We'll figure it out. I mean, who could possibly accept this instead of Trump's reported remarks? But when you're in the Trump cult, you have no choice but to accept it. In the interview, he mentioned several instances in which Trump made remarks that Cohen considered racist. One of them, when he was driving with Trump through a predominantly black Chicago neighborhood, and Trump said, "Only the blacks could live this way." I, of course, said to him, "Well, that's not really true," Cohen continued. He goes, "No, only the blacks could live this way." Yes, I'm sure that's just a direct quote. After former South African President Nelson Mandela died in 2013, Cohen said, "Trump asked me if I had known of any country that's run by a black that's not a shithole." Oh, isn't this the same Trump that they needed a plane for Nelson Mandela, and no one could find one, so Trump made one of his planes from his airline available to him. Is that the same Donald Trump that gave up, you know, cleared one of the planes of one of his flights or something like that, and got Nelson Mandela here? I'm pretty sure that's the story. But, you know, Cohen says this is happening. And let's see. So Trump asked if I'd known of any country that's run by a black that's not a shithole. And I said, "Well, how about America?" Cohen responded, to which he gave the proverbial "fuck you." Okay. Yeah, Cohen's going to be the most popular person on the planet for the next few days. So I'm pretty sure you'll get to hear everything about his book. But if you want to read this article, I'll put this one in the chat just so you can get a taste of what Michael Cohen's going to be saying on the news stations over the next few days. Moving on. Here it is. The explosive wildfires across California stoked by fierce winds. Anyone here live in California? Anywhere near this stuff? Holy shit. Wildfires raged unchecked across parts of the western U.S. on Wednesday, with gusty winds forecast to drive flames into new ferocity. California Diablo winds in the north and Santa Ana winds in the south were stoking unprecedented number of fires that have already grown explosively. In Washington, more acres burned in a single day than firefighters usually see all year. Fires also forced people to flee Oregon and Idaho. The temperature plunge of as much as 60 degrees helped contain the fires that spread in Colorado and Montana. Also, the snow in Colorado probably helped. And in Montana, in the hot, windy weather, no such respite was in the immediate forecast for California. On Tuesday, 14 firefighters were forced to deploy emergency shelters as flames overtook them and destroyed the Nacimiento station. We got another super chat. I'll get that in a second. A fire station in the Los Padres National Forest on the state's central coast. The U.S. Forest Service said they suffered from burns and smoke inhalation, and 3 were flown to a hospital in Fresno, where 1 was in critical condition. Here's just some of the photos from that real quick. Thank you, Gunfox61 with the $2. Who says, "Marty, you'll need a 5-hour show to cover the news." Also, Rochester, New York Police Command quit yesterday. I saw that. I'm going to highlight that in a second. Mayor and city council not sure what to do still. Rioters blocked traffic for hours and marched down streets with bullhorns at 11 o'clock, 2300, 11 p.m. So we're just go through some of the photos here from these fires. It's just crazy. So this is flames lick above vehicles at Highway 162 as bear fire burns in Oroville, California. It's just crazy in California, man. It's as we look at these photos. Here, let me see. Is this big spitter? Yeah, that'll do better here. Embers fly across the roadway as bear fire burns. The blaze, part of the lightning spark North Complex, expanded at a critical rate of spread as the winds buffeted the region. Also, did you hear about the, I'm sure you all heard about this, that one of these fires in California was set by someone doing some kind of gender reveal party. And I don't know what they did, but it caused part of the fire. This is a woman who's walking two horses along State Highway 226. Steckler had walked them for more than 2 miles during the evacuation. In the Santiam fire, there's people, a steady stream of vehicles leaving the area. The sun, this is so this is a daytime shot. The sun is seen against a sky turned orange with smoke from wildfires as it sets. It's the sun setting in California, near Sumner, Washington, south of Seattle. Oh, this is in Seattle. I'm sorry. And one of the choppers doing this thing there. Shannon Thornton looks into the basement of her burned home Tuesday on September 8th in Malden, Washington, a day after a fast-moving wildfire swept through the tiny town west of Rosalia. Shannon and her husband Sean weren't home at the time, but their son Cody was, and managed to get their dog and a few belongings before leaving just minutes before the flames swept through, destroying their home, garage, and multiple vehicles. The Thorntons have been married 22 years. Yeah, it's God, that's just awful, man. It's a gas station and someone else seeing their burned home. So I, pray for the people of California or in Washington, and if you can, if you happen to be part of, if you can, I don't know, if you're able to help out in whatever way you can, do that too. So unfortunate, man. What an awful thing going on out in California. And then let's see, I'm going to skip that because I'm going to come back to that at the end. Let's get into my bookmarks here because I got a couple things here. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for sharing on the show. Also, welcome to the show. I saw you in the chat there somewhere. Also, good morning, BG. And a couple other people popped in, if I remember. Francis Lancer, how you doing? Zach Osborne, and that's kind of everybody. All right. Let's see here. That's good. Oh, okay. I got one that, I got a couple here that I like to talk about media malfeasance, right? That's kind of my thing here. And a couple different articles popped out yesterday on the old Twitter. Hello, Advocatus Diaboli. How you doing? A couple articles popped out at me and they just pissed me off. I'm going to try not to rant too much, but this is the first one. Oh, hang on. Let me get it on the screen here. ABC News tweets this out. Russia is spreading disinformation regarding Joe Biden's mental health, according to a DHS bulletin obtained by ABC News. Really? We're still doing this Russian thing? The bulletin says the effort has been ongoing since September 2019. Now, I don't know if it's just me. I'm pretty sure it's not. But I gotta guess that perhaps some of us who have eyes and ears may have noticed some changes in the former vice president over the last 4 or 5 years. Just some changes. There's just, now I don't know why this would be a Russian information campaign. But here's the article at ABC Go. And this is, this is, I got to tell you, this is an article, and the other article I'm going to show you too, is an article that is something that was written to be able to write this article, or the information, the background information written to write this. This says the Department of Homeland Security. Now, there are certainly some career people in the Department of Homeland Security. Russia's spreading disinformation about Biden's mental health, according to DHS. Oh, Department of Homeland Security. A previously planned release was withheld by DHS. Oh, it was withheld. The Department of Homeland Security has found that Russia is spreading disinformation regarding former Vice President Joe Biden's mental health, according to a DHS bulletin obtained by ABC News. ABC News previously reported that DHS withheld publication of an intelligence bulletin warning law enforcement agencies of a Russian scheme to promote allegations about the poor mental health of Biden. The draft bulletin, titled, quote, Russia likely to denigrate the health of the U.S. candidates to influence the 2020 election, end quote, was submitted to the agency's Legislative and Public Affairs Office for review on July 7th. The analysis was not meant for public consumption, but it was set to be distributed to federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, 2 days later, on July 9th, the emails show. It was not, and after an uproar in the media, an updated version of the bulletin was released Tuesday, providing details on what the Russian operation looks like. Oh my God. It's full court press time, guys. It's full court press. Russia is using both covert proxy websites and overt state media to amplify these allegations, often in conjunction with other election-related malign influence narratives, which is consistent with their tactics in 2016 to undermine a former presidential candidate. It continues. Yes, they still haven't given you a quantified an answer. What was the quantitative results of that campaign in 2016? They can't answer it. Also, they still can't provide evidence about that Russian hack they keep talking about. Remember when CrowdStrike in the closed door meetings, then they released the unredacted transcripts from the testimony before the closed door House committee, and they under oath, CrowdStrike said, well, we don't really have any evidence of the hack. We just we found some indicators and this and that, but no real evidence. But yeah, I'm sure the Russians have just have such great influence. I'm sure those Facebook ads, those Facebook ads are just that, right? Anyway, very interesting, of course. And then the other one that kind of got under my craw was this one. Hang on, let me go back. Sturgis Motorcycle Rally was a super spreading event that cost public health $12.2 billion with a B dollars. Now I saw this article in a couple different places yesterday, but this is the Hills version. And again, this is one of those. Now, this one in particular, me being who has been in an industry where organizations would write a study or a report specifically to generate the headline that they wanted. This is a classic example of this, because we're going to go through this a little bit, and this is how we're going to finish the show today. So here's the article. Let me put it so you can see it. There you go. Sturgis Motorcycle Rally was super. Now, this is fascinating how they wrote this headline, because they wrote this headline. I did read the Senate report, Barack 44. I read the entire Senate report. And if you read the entire Senate report, you'll also realize that just like in the House committee testimony, they don't cite the evidence for certain items, in particular the hack. And in fact, CrowdStrike went back on their initial reports that they made publicly that the FBI used in some early reports, saying that they did not have evidence, and the FBI never examined the servers. They used their assessments of, moderately confident and highly confident were based on the CrowdStrike data that was given to them, that now CrowdStrike says they have no evidence of. Now, here's my example. You haven't been here when I've made this one. If you are in a relationship and you're going to get married, and you ask, and your spouse to be asks you this question: will you love me forever? And your answer is, I am highly confident. Well, there's a problem there, because highly confident doesn't mean anything. That is spook speak for confident means we don't have an answer. And moderately confident is even worse. Anyway, Milkman Dan, thank you for the $5 super chat. A bit of callback to the first story. Sorry for us Aussies not being able to send our best firefighters, but in Victoria we all got the plague. All right, I will check that out. Here's what we'll do. Can I open things from this? I don't think I can open things out of here. That's a picture pic. All right, we'll have to check that one out later. All right, here we go. So anyway, Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. Now this was a study that was specifically written to generate this particular headline. I find it hilarious. Here's the article though. The Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in South Dakota last month was a coronavirus super spreading event that led to an estimated key word in that sentence, estimated $12.2 billion in public health costs, according to a new study by the IZA Institute of Labor Economics. The analysis tracked anonymized cell phone data. If it's anonymized, how do they know who they're tracking? From the 10-day event that showed smartphone pings from non-residents and foot traffic at restaurants and bars, retail establishments, entertainment venues, hotels, and campgrounds, each rose substantially. Stay-at-home hours for local residents fell during the same time period. Based on the increase in case count, the research group estimated that cases connected to the gathering resulted in $12 billion in public health costs. Now, remember, Sturgis, the rally ended, I believe, August 17th. Is that correct? It was just over, let's see, here, where's the dates on here? I believe it was August 17th. It was just over 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. The idea that it resulted in $12 billion in public health costs is a pretty stretch, and I'll tell you how they got to that. Based on the increased case count, the research group estimated that the cases connected to the gathering resulted in $12 billion in public health costs, not including the costs associated with any deaths that might be tied to cases from the event. That dollar amount is based on another estimation that an average of $46,000 is spent on each patient who tests positive for COVID-19. Researchers concluded that more than 266,000 cases were tied to the event attended by more than 460,000 individuals. Wait, it's almost comical how they came up with this. Health officials have linked at least one death to the rally, a male biker in his 60s with underlying conditions. At least 260 cases in 11 states have been officially connected to the rally. Wait, whoa. The headline says, now look, here's how they weasel out of this. They put this word analysis after the colon here. The headline says Sturgis Motorcycle Rally was a super spreading event that cost public health $12.12 billion. That is sounding like it's a definitive statement, right? But then they throw this little word analysis back here. Here's how they get to the $12.2 billion. They're saying that 266,000 cases were tied to the event. Now tied to the event is interesting also because they have 260 confirmed cases and 1 death confirmed of people who were at that rally. But they're extrapolating that because of the context that these people could possibly have had. This is an estimate. It is not a definitive number. They're saying that 266,000 cases of people who have COVID at $46,000 a pop. Now, what do you know about this disease? Do cases even equal hospitalization? No, in fact, there's a very famous Cuomo who had COVID-19, never hospitalized. Did his $46,000 of public health cost? Did it take $46,000 of public health cost for Chris Cuomo to stay in his house for a few weeks? No. Also, again, 260 cases. They've confirmed that 260 is not 266,000 cases. And we also know that a vast majority of cases of COVID-19 are asymptomatic. So even if they had found 266,000 cases, is it $46,000 to get tested? What if the vast majority of those are asymptomatic cases? It's not costing so they basically extrapolated out saying that this would be 266,000 cases that required hospitalization when they have 260 confirmed cases and 1 confirmed death where they don't officially know where the person or those people got it. They're extrapolating because they were at Fergus. Now, the people who did this study. Oh, let me read some more of this. Okay, yeah. The annual event ran from August 7th through 16th. It drew more than 365,000. They messed up there. 365,000 vehicles, according to South Dakota's Department of Transportation. Most people who attended the event did not take coronavirus precautions like wearing masks and social distancing. The Associated Press reported at the time the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally represented a situation where many of the worst case scenarios for super spreading occurred simultaneously. The event was prolonged, included individuals packed closely together, involved a large out-of-town population that was orders of magnitude larger than the local population, and had low compliance with the recommendation infectious measures, such as use of masks, the researchers wrote. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, a staunch supporter of President Trump, why that's important, I'm not sure, but whatever, was supportive of the Sturgis rally, disputed the analysis findings, calling it fiction. This report isn't science, it's fiction, Noem said in a statement, blah, yada, 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 under the guise of academic research. So, now, what are you talking, why are you talking about, well, we'll get to your 93% of BLM protests are peaceful. Yeah. 540 declared riots. So 93, never mind. 93% of, never mind. I'm not going to go there. So anyway, on this, again, this study, and I think I'd looked at this study a little earlier. Yeah, their methodology is complete crap. In fact, I'll put the study in the chat if you want to read it. I've been through some of it. But I chuckled at how they came up with these numbers, assuming that because they're extrapolating from the cases had. They make a claim somewhere in there that like 14% of all cases were related to the Sturgis rally. Well, let me ask you something, because the Sturgis rally, yes, that was over how many days? 14, like 10 days, right? We've gone through 103 days of the peaceful protest that Brock 44 here is mentioning. This is the same study group that said there was little evidence that COVID has been spread through any of the protests throughout the country that have been going on for 103 days. I thought that the danger of having these large groups is not that you would spread it amongst the group, but that you might catch it, be asymptomatic, and spread it throughout the rest of the world. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. How could those not 103 days of protests, particularly in the Pacific Northwest, but also in many other states, it's in Louisville and Portland and other cities and periodic places now in Rochester, New York. How could those not be super spreader events? But the Sturgis rally is. This is an agenda-driven article, and the study it said, here's my take on it. And I think I put this on twitter.com. In fact, I know I did. Let me go into here and see what I said here. I said this earlier, and I try to remember the exact verbiage. Quick, somebody throw together a study so we could write this headline. But we don't have... Nope, it doesn't matter. Nobody's really going to read it anyway. Just write it. Now, I've had this experience back when I was in the finance business, and a group called Acorn used to write a report every single year about the disparities in lending in the lending industry, particularly against minorities, black people like myself. And being in that industry at the time, I was very interested in that because I thought, yeah, I always want to do better for, my fellow black people, right? And the problem is that it was one of those. I would read this study every year, and was interesting. I read it 5 years in a row. Acorn put out the same study about the same time of year, and the study was exactly the same every time except for they changed some of the numbers. And one thing that they never accounted for in this study was credit. They were talking about disparities in lending, but they never once mentioned credit. And I was in that business, and so I got to see why, because they were still talking about redlining, and at the time, the government had convinced us in the lending industry that were incentivizing us in particular to do lending in what was known as low income census tracts. And so the idea that the lenders were not lending in certain so-called red line areas. Now, there was obviously redlining was a thing, especially when my parents went to buy a house when I was a kid. Yes, there were people who there were real estate agents who wouldn't show them houses in certain areas. And so they went out and made their own area. They went just barely outside the city limits and made their own area. And we said, fuck it, we're going to live. My parents were like, fuck it, we're going to live where we want to live. And we did. And they built a house. And eventually that area was annexed by the city. But it was, a very diverse neighborhood. Because my parents were just those type. My mother, especially. Don't ever tell my mother no about anything. Because my mother would be like, no, we're gonna find a way. And we're going to do it our way and blah, blah, blah. And so that's kind of where I got my... my belief that I could do anything. And that's just about parenting. My parents always told me I could do anything I want. Don't ever let anyone tell you can't. All right, well, there you go. So anyway, but it was an organization that would write a study to generate a very specific headline. And it was always successful because the media will just run with that headline. This one study, I bet if you had someone else try to reproduce it, I'm going to guess they wouldn't be able to. That's kind of the issue when you try to read studies or read abstracts. If it's the test of a good abstract or a good study is it reproducible? And I'm going to guess that this one is very likely not reproducible. Anyway, all right, I'm almost out of time here. Let's do this before I go. Oh, someone is replying to me. $12 billion for what? Helium balloon animals kept floating away because someone didn't budget a string. Yeah. Anyway, that study is a complete and utter joke if you actually read it. All right, let's just finish up with any breaking news today. Let's check the Explore tab on Twitter and see if there's anything here, and then get the hell out of Dodge. On the top of the Explore tab, Norwegian Parliament nominates Donald Trump for 2021 Nobel Peace Prize, according to Fox News. We've already read that one. Let's go on the news tab here. Hey, Brock, I got a question for you. Since you're whatever you're doing there, whatever you call it. I'm trolling my people here. What do you think of the Nobel Peace Prize nomination for Trump, even though there's tons of people nominated for it? Who is more worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize? Donald Trump or your namesake? Be honest. Anyway. Joe Biden, oh yeah, and PolitiFact's coverage for Joe Biden does not want to abolish suburban communities. I don't know that anyone said he wanted to abolish suburban communities. Is this one of those, these arguments made a straw, according to PolitiFact and a Washington Post fact checker? Woo, they are, you know how they are. Confirmed that Joe Biden does not want to abolish suburban communities after President Trump made a claim Tuesday that the Democratic nominee had pledged to do so by reinstating an Obama-era affirmatively furthering fair housing rule. NPR reports that the AFFH rule aims to diminish patterns of housing discrimination. FactCheck.org says the rule would not require the construction of low-income homes in suburban areas, as Trump previously suggested. Now, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to put that. Because, again, when I was in the finance industry, that was one of the things that they were trying to implement. Interesting. And that's from, oh boy. Well, I'd have to go back and look up through some of my notes from back then when I was still in the deal. Oh, you're not going to answer my question. Why would I even bother? Oh, you're just arguing with people in my chat. Okay. Moving on. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I don't know that he said abolish the suburbs. I guess I'll have to look up what Trump said is a typical Trump bluster. That's why, again, I'm not... Trump's use of words is not always the greatest. Belgium's controversial Africa Museum faces its colonial past. 30 minutes ago, overdose deaths rise as the pandemic intensified the opioid crisis. Fatal drug overdoses have increased as job losses and stress from COVID-19 destabilized those struggling with addiction. When COVID-19 struck, the U.S. was already in the grip of expanding drug overdose crisis. It has only gotten worse since then. Not a good thing. They need to figure that one out. There's a Wall Street Journal. It's based on a Wall Street Journal article that a lot of people are referring to. In fact, I'll put that one in the chat also as soon as it pops up here. You might have to go through archives to get to it. Hi, Gamer Valine. Oh, troll the chat. You say, oh yeah, it's Barack44. Do not time out Barack. Let him go. And that's, you know. All right. Let's see here. All right. So there, I put that article in the chat if you're interested in reading that one. Let's see what else is new. Last night, let's see. That was 31 minutes ago. Belgium. Okay, we did that. Social gatherings of more than 6 people are set to be banned by law in England. They're going even further into it. You know, it's funny. As I mentioned the other day, Peru and Chile had some of the most stringent lockdowns in the world. And now I think is it Peru that has the highest COVID death rate now in the world? It's so I don't know. Someone's got to figure out what really works, and it's really tough to figure that one out. We would never time them out. They provide too much free entertainment. Okay, that's true too. Thank you, Becca. Thousands forced to flee as fire engulfs Greece's Moria refugee camp. Oh, that's not good. A fire broke out at an overcrowded Lesbos migrant camp early Wednesday. The facility, which hosts more than 4 times its stated capacity of 12,000 people, has been condemned by AIDS Group for poor living conditions. There have been no reports of injuries due to the fire so far. Couple of pics here. Hell on Earth tonight in Moria. Let's do a full-size pic here. So apparently, somehow the fire broke out in this camp. But fortunately, nobody was injured. That's a good thing. All right, let's move on here. Let's see. Oh, Joe Biden unveils economic manufacturing plan in Michigan. The Democratic presidential nominee is scheduled to deliver remarks to the UAW auto workers in the battleground states of Michigan on Wednesday and is expected to detail a plan that penalizes corporations that offshore jobs. It's okay. It's almost like it's interesting how he plays catch up on some of these things. You know, now living in Minnesota, I see that I see how northern Minnesota, the mining industry has picked up so much since Trump's been in office, and it's part of the reason that a lot of people in that part of the country, and a lot of industrial places, like what Brock says, Trump's base are poor and non-college Caucasian Americans. Educated Caucasian Americans vote Democrat. Well, some do, I guess, whatever. But, you know, the workers seem to like Trump for some reason. Probably because a lot of jobs have come back. A lot of manufacturing came back in the Trump era. Remember the badge? I think who said that something about the magic wand? Oh, yeah, that was your namesake that said, oh, well, like, what is he going to do it with a magic wand? Well, shocker, he kind of did without a magic wand. Just a couple simple policies and some deregulation. That seems to be okay. But anyway, yeah, Biden's plan is Trump's plan. I know it's the same thing. It's like, but the media is certainly likes to just kind of ignore that fact. Anyway, all right. In a speech given in Warren, Michigan, Democratic nominee Joe Biden will talk about a tax plan he says will encourage job creation in Michigan. Now that's interesting. I wonder if that's going to be. Let's see. Let's look at this article. It's nice to see him getting out of the house, though. I do appreciate that he's out there talking to people. Joe Biden unveils a tax plan to tax companies that move jobs overseas as he courts Michigan voters. That's kind of like California trying to tax people who leave the state. I don't know how that even works. Anyway, museum facts won't fix that. Oh, I know. I just get a kick out of it, though. Ahead of the speech given in Warren, Michigan, Democratic nominee Joe Biden early Wednesday unveiled a plan to tax companies that move work overseas at a higher rate and reward those that bring jobs back. That kind of sounds like Trump's tariff plan, doesn't it? I don't know. He's just going to... Oh, my gosh. It's so funny. In any other campaign, it would be one direct from the Democratic playbook, but given that President Trump has made the same claims as a central part of his presidency, it comes as a frontal assault on Trump's economic record in a state the president won by just 0.2% 4 years ago. Yes, it's almost like Biden copies things. What's that called? Starts with a P. I can't remember the word. Anyway, Biden, the former vice president, as if we didn't know that, was set to meet later in the day with UAW members and hold a closed but live stream campaign event in Warren, a day ahead of a campaign rally in Freeland to be held by Trump. I wonder if he'll have his teleprompter running. In a release put out by the campaign, Biden sharply criticized Trump's handling of the economy even before a steep slide caused by the pandemic, pointing to reports that manufacturing had entered a recession even before then, and a 2017 tax bill encouraged companies to move jobs overseas. Okay, I'm going to have to go look at the data on that. I think that, anyway, so he's pushing for legislation that would increase the top corporate tax rate from 21 to 28%. Okay, so the first thing on the list, pushed for legislation that would increase the top corporate tax rate from 21 to 28% and implemented an additional surcharge on any production moved out of the U.S. on goods and services to be sold or provided back to the U.S. So, in that case, wouldn't that raise the price of U.S. goods, making foreign goods more attractive to American buyers? I without even looking at that, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Oh my God. Ask Congress to approve a 10% Made in America tax credit to companies making investments that would create or relocate jobs inside the U.S., allowing them to use the credit to advance of actual job creation, as long as it's used on activities such as reopening closed plants or investing in new equipment that leads to the jobs. Yeah, I'm not against that at all. Signed executive orders during the first week in office that would strengthen the so-called Buy America provisions that encourage the purchase of American-produced goods. Here's a little secret. As much as I've seen in my many years of living, both Democrats and Republicans make these Buy American, pledges or whatever to encourage people to buy American. Consumers tend to just either buy things that they think are high quality or buy things that they can get at a good price. So these kinds of initiatives, and I've seen both sides of the political spectrum do this, and it doesn't, that shit don't work. Anyway, just a secret there. Holy shit. Throughout his 2016 campaign and 4 years of his presidency, Trump has made a key component of his agenda returning jobs from overseas, especially manufacturing jobs, saying he would target companies, including automakers, who moved U.S. production out of the country. While he can point to successes doing so in the first years of his term, there was evidence that the economy was slowing even before the coronavirus hit. Of course it was slowing. Because it can't always. What? Okay. There's a certain point there's a certain point called saturation in economics, and we were getting toward that saturation point because it went so strong, so fast, and so it's naturally going to slow and speed up and slow and speed up. Oh God, who wrote this drivel? Of course, again, and it's not someone who's versed in economics anyway. Let's see. So, the Free Press reported last week that while manufacturing in Michigan had seen some gains before the pandemic hit, they were far less than those seen during Obama's second term, and that the auto and auto parts manufacturing jobs had actually declined, while the average amount of U.S. content vehicles sold by the three Detroit-based automakers had declined. Trump also never followed through with threats during the campaign and his presidency to unilaterally impose tariffs on U.S. auto production, and other manufacturers moved out of the U.S., though he did place tariffs on certain goods and those from certain countries, including China. There has been some evidence, however, that those actions hurt the economy. Really? That evidence is? Let's see what they use as their evidence here. Let's open it up. Oh, the Brookings Institute. I remember this article from last month. Oh my God. Oh, I wish okay. I can't do it. I'm done. I'm going to just, cause I'm out of time actually, not because I don't want to do this. Maybe I'll make a video on this because that's amazing. All right, we got to go, guys. It is that time for me to say goodbye. Thank you for being here today at the Morning Night Live. Before you click anything, before you turn away, before you do what you do, but I start talking about this stuff, hit the like button before you go, please. If you like what I do, hit the like button. That's always a good thing for the algorithm. And make sure that you hit the share button and share the stream out if you can. But I hit the like button before you click, because some of you click and go away as soon as I start telling you that the Morning Night Live is brought to you Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT for my friends in other parts of the world that don't use American time zones. And please hit the like button, hit the share arrow, share this out with your friends. And if you're watching on replay, hit the down there in the comment section, let me know that you're here. And finally, if you want to donate to the show or ever you want to do super chats, you can do that through the pdognight.live website right there, where you can go to that's my Streamlabs link, and that you can do through a credit card or PayPal. I do it either way, credit card preferred, but if you like PayPal, use PayPal. I don't care. And if you want to make donations to the show, you can also do it through Venmo and what's that called? Cash App. Those links are also in the description down below. I gotta go, guys. Mooly Purchers, I didn't even see you come in. Hello, how you doing? And I'm sure there's a couple people I had to say. I didn't say hi to Becca. Becca, hi. Hello. And I said hi to Barack44. Yes, I did. I think I got everybody. I think I hit everybody today. And if I didn't, if you were lurking, if you're driving, if you're working, I'm glad you're here too. But it's time for me to say goodbye. So that's what I'm going to do. My name is P. Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. New outro. This is P-Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.